TV. As usual, I'm together with Susie Linda, with whom we are going to break for you the content that we are going to give in the highlights of the discussion. This is the Whistle Time on Western TV that comes on your way from Mondays to Saturdays. Of course, from the hour of 2 p.m. up to the hour of 3 p.m. where we start with the local contents. We take a look at some of the breaking stories in national stories. If they are there, we take a look at continental stories before we finalize everything with what is transpiring in international sports. This is the time for transfer. They are there. We'll be talking about them, their matches that are going on. Before we start breaking the contents, we need to give you the highlights of the discussion. And remember, there is a player who had been playing for Kataka FC, a team that plays in StarTimes FUFA Big League Kataka FC. As I talk right now, this guy has already confirmed his departure from the club. He's not joining any club within the StarTimes Uganda Premier League, not even in FUFA Big League, not even in the third tier of Ugandan football, but this time he has opted to go outside the country to study in USA. We'll be talking about that one. What about Kiwanuka Sports Club Villa? They are very active as the summer transfer window is shutting down. They have also unveiled another attacker in the names of Kiwanuka. We'll also be talking about this great player. What about the Fiasa? When we talk about Fiasa, know that we are actually talking about the biggest school tournament in the region. That's the Federation of East African Secondary School Sports Association. As I talk right now, the tournament is going on. How our schools are performing. Actually, the reason as to why I want to discuss about the ongoing tournament is our schools are performing very well in all the sporting activities. Athletics, they are doing very well. And we can also confirm to you the table tennis has already reached to the semi-finals, and 5 schools from Uganda, they have sent the ladies team and also the boys team to the semi-finals. We'll also be talking about that one. This morning, we also had the 10,000 meters race. How we performed in the race, we'll also be looking at something about that one. What about internationally? So many stories continues to transpire as far as international football is concerned. The red card that was given to Mark Allister of Liverpool. Liverpool had a successful appeal to the FA of England, and that red card has been called off. And Pep Guardiola, a manager, is going to be out for around 3 weeks due to an injury. What kind of injury? We'll also be breaking that one into analysis. And as we talk right now, West Ham United have already completed the signing of Konstantinos Mavropanos from Stuttgart, former player for Pasadena. We talked about Similas. He also played for Arsenal. Initially, they had been eyeing Manchester United defender Harry Maguire. After the guy rejected the move to the Hammers, they decided to go for Konstantinos Mavropanos. How he will be able to change the team of West Ham United, we'll also be talking something about that one. Also at the camp of Manchester United, we'll be talking about 2 breaking stories as Sheikh Jassim, they have revived their hope as far as Manchester United takeover is concerned. We'll be talking about that story. What about the saga of Mason Mount? What has happened to him? He is going to be out in the next 2 games Manchester United is going to play. We'll also be talking about that one. How will that one affect him? How will that one impact the team of Manchester United? Plus the transfer rumors that continues to make headlines every day. As I said, I am not alone in the studio. I am together with Susie Linda, with whom we are going to break for you the contents. Good afternoon, Susie.
Good afternoon, Benson, and good afternoon, viewer out there. I should say you're most welcome to There Is a Whistle Time show. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. My name is Susie, like Benson has said, and I am closely following, by the way, the Fiesta games that are taking part in Rwanda. The Ugandan schools are hammering the Rwandan schools, and yesterday was actually a derby day. They actually pitted a Ugandan school against one Ugandan school, and then there was one Tanzanian, Swahili derby, I should say, where they also put one school in Tanzania against the other, and then they also played 2 schools from Rwanda against each other. And then also one thing that actually amazed me was SMASK. SMASK playing there is with Gahin from Rwanda. There is in netball, and the score lines are very massive. Our own Ugandan side had to beat the Rwandan side 117 shots to there is 10. So it was quite a big one. And there is the different derbies. Our schools are doing quite well, apart from Chitovu and Light of Grace. That is the reigning champions. Theirs ended on a barren draw. They played 0-0, meaning they're all tied to 4 points, and it's only goal difference that actually gets to separate them down there. We're following the games, and they are becoming interesting because our own Ugandan sides are performing very well.
It's true, they are performing extremely well. You have already given highlights on how the schools are performing from the Department of Netball. Like we said on Monday, they are participating in all the sporting activities. Athletics is there. You talk about ladies football is also part of it. The boys football is also there. Tennis itself is there. Volleyball is there. Rugby, basketball. Every sporting activity we have in the country, these schools, they are taking part in the game. You have already talked about netball. Let's say something a little about football. For football, the defending champions, of course, is the school Chibuli SS, because last season they won it, and the record champions, the school that, of course, has gone on to win the competition more than any other school, is, of course, St. Mary's Chitende, our own school from Uganda. Taking a look at how football transpired yesterday, like you have already said, our schools are performing very well. Yesterday we saw our own St. Mary's Chitende running riot over a certain school in the names of Ekose. They beat them by 6-0. Then the other result, DDC Chibuli SS, the defending champions, also a school that comes from Uganda. We saw them beating a school in the names of Dagoretti SS that comes from Kenya by 4-0. Taking a look at St. Mary's Chitende and Chibuli, are we seeing Chibuli defending the trophy, because I said last season they were the champions, as with the performance of St. Mary's Chitende and having been the record champions? Are we seeing them this time? The way I'm seeing the battle is going to be between the two Ugandan schools, Chibuli SS and St. Mary's Chitende. And out of the two schools, where do you see the trophy going for the boys football?
Chitende and Chibuli. Chibuli has been a very historic school where boys football, whenever there is a trophy, at the end of the day, just know the trophy is going down to Chitende, to Chibuli. These guys have always played football, and by the way, if you look at their squad, you'll actually get to see that the squad is full of West Nilers. By the way, they have bursaries that actually they give out to our own best players in there is a football. So Chibuli has been quite legendary, and it has hung on in their names for quite some time, I should say. But Chitende has just risen up recently, and they play modern football. But I see Chibuli has dragged on to there is their ancient kind of play, which actually didn't go quite well for them while they were in Uganda playing the nationals to see to it that the winners get to qualify and join in Rwanda. But then it is good that actually they both qualified and went. But then we saw Chitende actually beating there is Chibuli and being winners back in Uganda. So I think Chibuli needs to, at least they just need to up their game a little bit if there is they want to outcompete Chitende. Chitende has all the facilities, they have the finances, they have all the players.
Truly.
If they have the modern type of play that actually is into that can actually take one far. There is in competitions. So, but to me, it's like you had said, it's Chibuli and Chitende that are going to be in this tight race. But I am not ruling out there is a Chibuli. They've been there for quite some time. Chitende is they've just come up. Chibuli has been there, and I should say they have been there for quite some good years. But they should just up their games a little. They should check off the ancient type of play if there is they really want to outcompete. There is Chitende, but I'm looking at Chitende having an upper hand. Yeah,
as we talk right now, still the group stages games going on. The tournament will come to an end on 27th of this particular month, the month of August, and the year is 2023, which means on Sunday you will see see all the sporting activities coming to an end. If you also say something little, I also abide with what you have already put on the table. Chibuli, a month ago, we saw them representing our country in the International Schools Federation Games that was hosted by Morocco, where they performed also very well. Leaving that story of boys football in the FIASO tournament, this time we are turning our focus to another sporting activity. We also need to look at the sister of boys football. We are actually shifting our focus to ladies football. How of course our schools also performing, our ladies are performing in the world of football. We can also confirm to you they are performing extremely well. You take a look at Zana. When we talk about Zana, I know people's mind will always go to how they performed in the International Federation Schools tournament that was hosted by Morocco. As I said, they finished third in the whole world after beating a certain school that comes from Germany in the third playoffs. I remember very well. So they are performing very well, and this is a regional tournament. If they also end up maybe to be the runners up as the champions, we also see the school Sentinua Zana High School for the ladies football going to represent our country. They have already played the 2 games and winning both of the games. Meanwhile, Kawembe Muslims from the party of also ladies football, they also performed brilliantly. 2 games being played in their group stages, and they have managed to win both games. Taking a look at how Sentinua girls are performing yesterday, in fact on Sunday, yesterday they had a game up against GS Katizo of Rwanda. They beat the side by a goal to nil. Meanwhile, for Kawembe Muslims, SES, there were 3 goals to nil winners over Ziba. And also on Sunday, they played the games. We saw Sentinua edging out Ziba by 2 goals to 1. Meanwhile, in the other result, it was Kawembe Muslims, SES, that were 3 goals to 1 winners over Butere Girls. Noa Zana, they are still performing very well. Are we seeing them lifting the trophy?
Said no, Azana, they've always been there. They know what it takes actually to be winners and all that. They've played both at local levels and international levels. They've taken part in continental football, so they have the experience. I'm actually rooting in for them. But then the Kawempe girls, they are also quite a sight to watch. They have all the good type of play that it needs for one to actually push through the different stages and actually to move to the next levels of football. But the Zana girls, I should say, they I don't know how these girls play the football. I should be rating them to the recently concluded Women's World Cup girls. Women, okay. They have all the energy. They have all the tactics of play. They are pacey. If you take your time and watch these Zana girls, you really get to enjoy women football. And I am really rooting in for them, and I see them quite moving far.
Yeah, we have already looked at the 2 sporting activities already. Boys football, we have already talked about it. Ladies football, we have just been discussing about it. Like you have already said, Noa Zana, they are performing very well. The way I am also seeing, they may go up to the finals. Away from the football, as we said, there are so many sporting activities that are taking place in Rwanda. Actually, this tournament is hosted by Rwanda in a city called Huye City. Last season, it was played in Tanzania. It was hosted by a city called Kigali. This time, it has been shifted to another country called Rwanda. Let's take a look at something a little about the tennis table. As we said, when we are giving the highlights of the discussion, the tournament itself, the table tennis has already reached to the semi-finals. And Uganda, they have sent 5 representatives, 5 schools to the semi-finals, which means the other 3 schools, they are coming from the different parts of the region. Taking a look at some of the schools that have proceeded to the semi-finals. In fact, the semi-finals for the table tennis for the ladies, they started at 11 a.m. The result has not reached to our desktop. We will give you that one tomorrow. It was again between Chibuli SS and Bogo High School. Then we had another semi-final. It was between Kawanda up against the Kenya one. Meanwhile, as we talk right now, the game has just started something of around 19 minutes ago. The boys table tennis semi-finals, where Kenya won up against Mboga College and Chibuli SS up against Rwanda. The 5 schools Uganda has sent to the semi-finals of the table tennis. Chibuli has sent both the ladies and the boys team. Meanwhile, we also take a look at Mboga. They have also sent both the ladies team and also the boys team. 5 schools from Uganda and 3 from the other parts of the region, automatic, which means we have an upper odd in winning the table tennis.
I think it's quite a very great one. We have an upper one there is winning of table tennis. If only our players go in there and they have the energy, they have all the skills it takes to actually win in that very game. But then, even if we've sent 5 representatives, trust me, these other countries that have sent in fewer representatives can come in and beat us. We've seen in the game of football where even if 2 or 1 person is sent off due to a red card, we've seen the lesser people beating in the full squad. So we shouldn't, okay, fine, yeah, we could be having an upper hand, yes, but then we cannot also rule out these other people. They might be over better experience compared to us. Table tennis has not lasted in Uganda for quite some time. I don't even think we have it in West Nile. Is it there? In any school? It's not there. So we are not ruling out these other people that are few, much as we've sent in more representatives, unless otherwise that our representatives have the experience, they have the tactics of the play and all that. Table tennis is a mind game, but unless otherwise, if you're not if you're not very critical, you get to lose in, and if the experience is not compacted, trust me, it becomes very hard. But we are following to see to it that since we have sent in a bigger number, we are following to see that actually we get to win in this. We are taking the advantage of being bigger in number compared to these other countries that have sent in fewer representatives.
Yeah, it's true. We also feel that we cannot leave athletics out, because athletics is one of the sporting activity people love so much in the country. We also taking part. In fact, our schools also taking part in the tournament. This morning we had a 10,000 meters race. How our own Ugandan schools performed, we also need to give you. In fact, the gold medal has gone to the country Kenya. Bronze medal also been taken by the country Kenya. Our own athlete in the 10 meters race, we have seen them coming back to the country with a silver medal. Away from that, actually, we have discussed a lot about the Federation of East African Secondary School Sports Association. This time we need to take our focus and we talk about another sporting activity. We are still discussing, in fact we are still talking about football, but we need to take a look at club football, because we have already discussed about the schools tournament. We actually taking our focus that side of Mbale, eastern part of the country. We are going to discuss about one teenager in the names of Emmanuel Messi. This guy, as we talk right now, has already confirmed his departure from the team. That's Kataka. If we take a look at Kataka, last season was not all that a good one for them. Matches they survived the relegation. I remember in the middle of last season they were not performing very well, but all in all they survived the relegation, and this player alone played an integral role, a brilliant role for the team of Kataka to see that they avoid the relegation. And in the ongoing summer transfer window, their neighbors, that's Mbale Heroes, because they all come from the same district called Mbale. They wanted to lure the services of this young guy, but the team of Kataka, we are saying that, yeah, if you want our attacker, you need to give us 7 million plus 2 players. But the team of Mbale Heroes, new promoted side in the second tier of Ugandan football, said, no, if you are demanding 7 million plus 2 players, we cannot be in position to do such kind of business with you. Why actually we are discussing about the player is he has actually left the club to look for a greener pasture that side of USA, and is going for studies, plus also develop his football. That's why we actually talking about the man, that's Messi. People have nicknamed him as Messi because of the hype, the skills, the pace he's having whenever he's on the ball. But this player has already left Kataka, as he had said, a team that struggled a lot last season to see that they avoid the relegation. I think that's a very big loss for the team of Kataka. Meanwhile, on the other side, a great move for the player himself.
Quite a very big loss there is for Kataka, I should say. They really needed to work so hard to see to it that they keep Messi into their play, because the last season, like you had just said, they struggled just so well to see that they survived relegation, which actually happened. But then losing out very key players like this that are quite pacey, for the fact that once a player actually gets nicknamed after a senior world record player, trust me, meaning the player is so good, that player meaning is very good. For the fact that Messi has left Kataka, it's a very big loss to Kataka. I just have to agree to there is your words. But then it's quite a very good one for there is Messi himself. He gets to build on his football. He gets a bigger platform where he can actually showcase his talent. Way back home, no doubt he's quite good. For the fact that he has left Kataka and traveled out, we pray that he really gets attached to a certain club. News coming through from the players that actually are going out. It's not only Messi. Mustafa Chiza, you remember him? He also gets to sign in Portugal. Recently, they had loaned him to there is a KCCA, and then KCCA had wanted to. I remember we discussed that some time back. KCCA wanted to retain him, and then the side that had actually loaned him asked him for a very huge amount of money and all that. But then Mustafa Chiza gets to actually put a pen to paper for a certain side that there is in Portugal, and then here Messi also gets to travel out. So it's quite brilliant that our players, our own Ugandan players, get to represent. There is the Ugandan flag outside, but then still the vice which chases our players back home. We pray that really it does not affect these two key players that the country loves, that have decided to chase for greener pastures out there. There is Messi and Mustafa Chiza. Mustafa Chiza has quite lasted out there. This time around, I think the issue is the storyline is going to be quite about Messi, because he has been in the country for quite some time, and this is going to be his very first time to move out and try football out. We are watching him closely, and any stories that will actually evolve about him, will just bring them live to you or to your screens, and we are following quite closely.
Yeah, still speaking about this player called Emmanuel Mukisa Messi, as we talk right now, he is the part of Bugisu province team, and in fact the two goals Bugisu province they are squad, the one all tie they had with Busoga in the first encounter, he was the man behind the goal, and also the consolation goal Bugisu got against Western Nile province here at Ababet in Arua City, he was also the player behind that goal, which means the statistics is true about this player. Away from the story of Emmanuel Mukisa Messi, who has been nicknamed as Messi, this time we are turning our focus to the camp of Sports Club Villa. We're also going to discuss about one personality in the names of Akim Kiwanuka. As we talk right now, this guy has already completed his move to the Jogos, and in fact he's one of the players who left this country early this year for the trials in Scotland with a team called St. Mirren. We don't know maybe if he has failed as he succeeded, but to me I think he has failed in the trials. That's why we have seen him returning back to the home soil. He's a player who has been previously playing for a team called Proline. As we talk right now, Proline is playing in the third tier of Ugandan football, the regional league of Central Kampala. Proline, I remember they were relegated to FUFA Big League in 2018, and recently, in 2021/2022, we saw them going to the regional league after losing their last game. So things have not been working out for the team of Proline, and ever since he left Proline, this player Kiwanuka has not been playing for any big side in StarTimes Uganda Premier League until that offer from Scotland came for him early this year, and he failed, and we are seeing him returning to the team of Sports Club Villa. Not the only player being confirmed by the team of Sports Club Villa, they have also confirmed players like Onzima Peter, Charles Luanga, Ojera, this former player for Onduparaka. At the beginning of the summer transfer window, Sports Club Villa, they were dormant. Now, few days for the summer transfer window to close, we are seeing them becoming active. What will this player offer for the team of Sports Club Villa, plus the other signings they have confirmed?
I think this is quite the time where every other person is going to be active in or within there is the transfer signings. Even the clubs that were quite very silent, we're going to be seeing them coming up to actually to unveil players and all that. We've been seeing a lot of players training in with certain teams or with certain clubs, and this is actually going to be the exact time to for the official unveilings that the clubs can do. Talking about forward, there is Hakim Chiwanuka, who has completed a move to there is a 16-time record winners over there is a StarTimes Uganda Premier League. There is a soccer club Villa. I think it's quite a good one for him. Ever since he last featured in there is the Uganda Premier League from the time Proline played. But so just like you said, since Proline was relegated, we've never seen Hakeem Chiwanuka featuring in any Premier League game, unless otherwise I am wrong. But I know my statistics are very correct.
Very correct.
So, he has never featured with any club that actually plays one of the biggest tiers in there is the Ugandan football. We're talking about sometimes Ugandan Premier League. For the fact that Hakeem Chiwanuka puts pen to paper at the soccer club Villa, he gets to join the likes of Gerard Dennis, formerly who played for Onduparaka, and but recently he scored a goal, by the way. Yes, he scored a goal. I think in the Super 8. It was the first goal that he registered in his first debut for the soccer club Villa. So it's quite a good one that Hakeem gets to feature in with the likes of OJ. I think it's going to be a very perfect match. So we're really expecting a lot from him because he's a good player. Trust me, Hakeem is a very good forward player. Where any chances that land on his legs, trust me, once the ball is on his legs, the ball from his legs is looking for the back of the net, right in there. So it's quite going to be a very good one. I don't know. I think Soccer Club Villa is trying to see that they come back bigger and better, and they are standing in for the title chase.
Yeah, truly, no doubt about what you have already put on the table, because they are doing massive recruitments. Like I already mentioned, some of the players they have already signed, the likes of Charles Silwanga, Peter Onzima, this recent guy, they have already signed Hakeem Chiwanuka. You talk about Ozera, and as we talk right now, they are on the verge of completing a deal for a defender, their former defender, that's a defender, Gavin Kizito, who went to Egyptian Premier League to sign for Al Ittihad. Things were not working for him. His contract was terminated. As we talk right now, the guy is training with the team of Sports Club Villa. That's why I'm saying the team is at the verge of completing a deal for Gavin Kizito as a replacement for Fred, who has already left to Tanzanian Premier League to join Young Africans. With that